Hello again, this is Vince, a meteorologist at the National Weather Service in Grand Forks. I'm bringing you a video series about the historic winter and flood of 1896-97. As a reminder, this is a three-part series. Part 1 covered the fall of 1896, this part covers the winter of 1896-97, and the next segment will cover the spring and flood of 1897. The winter of 1896-97 covers the months of December 1896 and January and February of 1897. This graphic shows the daily departure from normal temperatures at Moorhead, Minnesota for December 1896. On this graphic, the blue bars represent colder than normal days, and the red bars represent warmer than normal days. You can quickly see that there was a mix of both red and blue bars, meaning there were a lot of temperature swings. One record low was set on December 1st. Averaging the month as a whole, no records were set as the cold and warm days balanced each other out. Some of the warm periods had temperatures above 32 degrees, which caused some melting snow. These warm temperatures and melting snow resulted in periods of fog, and they also crusted over the top of the snow. One newspaper noted that the local coal pile had not decreased as much in December as it had in the previous month. Another paper mentioned that one college professor predicted there would be no snow left on the ground by January 1st. Not much snow fell during the month of December. This graphic shows the total amount of snow that did fall in December. The amounts were pretty low, with an average of about 5.2 inches. Moving into January 1897, the daily average temperatures continued to show swings. However, there was a fairly pronounced cold snap from the mid to near the end of the month. Looking at the month as a whole, the temperature swings again balanced each other out. The coldest temperature of the month occurred during the mid to late month cold stretch. Bookended on either side, January also had some very mild daily highs. This graphic shows the amount of snow measured daily at Moorhead, Minnesota in January 1897. The most snow fell early in the month, with lower amounts thereafter. Two of these snowfalls were associated with blizzards. The New Year's blizzard started out as steady rain. The rain added to the crust on the snow. However, as temperatures fell, the rain turned to snow, and the wind speeds increased. Unlike the Thanksgiving Day blizzard, temperatures became quite cold during the latter portions of this blizzard. The biggest impact from the New Year's blizzard occurred because of the crusted snow. Several newspapers said that the fresh blowing snow easily slid over the old crusted snow. As a result, the railroad cuts filled back in with snow, shutting down the railroads again. Overall impacts were said to have been greater along and east of the Red River Valley. At Point 1, Colgate, North Dakota, the local paper mentioned that farmers had begun driving their sleighs between the railroad rails, and then were complaining that they had to get off the track to let the trains go by. At Point 2 near Sheldon, North Dakota, another newspaper talked about one family whose house was along a low spot near the Cheyenne River. Eventually this house became completely drifted over, so only the stovepipe stuck out of the snow. They managed to burrow a path to the outside and continued to live in the home until it caught fire and burned. The snow was packed so tightly against the house that the fire only made what was left of the home into an igloo. So the family moved back in. At Pemberton, North Dakota, Point 3, the paper said that horse teams readily walked over the snowdrifts without breaking through. The January 21st to 23rd blizzard brought more snow and wind, which was also followed by cold temperatures. After this blizzard, hundreds of miles of railroad track were again impassable. Telegraph lines were knocked down, cutting off communication to some areas. At Point 1 in Trail County, one man had to cut a hole in his roof to get out after the blizzard. In Cooperstown, Point 2, businessmen on the north side of east-west facing streets complained they always had to shovel, while their counterparts on the south side did not. At Point 3 near Jamestown, horses were said to have been smarter than their owners. The horses managed to paw out paths and find grass, while their owners struggled to keep warm by drinking strong drinks, constantly complaining about the weather. This graphic shows the snowfall totals for the month of January 1897. The highest reported amounts occurred over portions of the southern Red River Valley into portions of west central Minnesota. February 1897, temperatures started out warm, but turned cold by the mid to end of the month. Looking at the month as a whole, the warm and cold periods balanced each other out. The coldest temperature was 30 below zero on the 26th. Shifting to the February snowfall, there was one big snow event in the middle part of the month, which was associated with another blizzard. The February 12th to 13th blizzard began fairly mild, but that was followed by heavy snow and strong winds. Again, the railroads were blocked by huge snowdrifts, leading one newspaper to claim that the blizzards were more regular than the trains. The government even threatened James J. Hill, the president of the Great Northern Railroad, that they would fine him $5,000 if he couldn't open up portions of his railroad. Hill fired back that he would be glad to pay $10,000 if the government would clear his road. Near Cooperstown, Point 1, a doctor claimed he was driving over the snow-covered prairie when a man's head appeared next to his sleigh. The man then asked him to move off his snow-covered house. At Point 2 near Buffalo, a man had to dig the snow away from his windmill blades so it could turn. The windmill was 20 feet tall. Finally, at Point 3, 3 miles south of Grand Forks, one particularly large snowdrift could be seen from town. This drift completely covered the barn. Horses were able to walk over the top of this drift, then over the top of the barn, and down into the farmyard. Here is a rough snowfall map for the month of February 1897. Quite a bit of snow fell for the month, the average being about 13 inches. February 1897 still holds the record for the 10th most snow. That concludes segment 2 of this presentation. Tune back in for the next segment, which will cover the spring and historic flood of 1897. Thanks for listening.